Guadalupe, a remote island inhabited by a handful of researchers, a few fishermen, and the great white shark. Sharks have long fascinated us. For centuries, they were portrayed as deadly eating machines. While many people still have an irrational fear of sharks, research has dispelled many of these myths and given us a sense of urgency to protect and conserve these wonderful apex predators. Sharks are necessary for a healthy ecosystem in our oceans. Many humans depend upon the ocean for food, and removing an apex predator can have devastating consequences. One of the best places to study sharks is around Guadalupe Island, where great whites aggregate to hunt seals before migrating across the ocean to Hawaii. Little is still known about white sharks and the role of their migration patterns. They are also becoming endangered because of shark finning and indiscriminate overfishing. Divers who come to Guadalupe are getting involved to help with conservation of the great white shark.
Well, the Historical Diving Society, its focus was to preserve and protect the history of diving. But you wouldn't have diving if you didn't have a healthy environment. And so why it's so important to come to places like Guadalupe is because people have an opportunity to see firsthand the beauty of these apex predators. And people really can't understand that they need to conserve something unless they see it firsthand.
What has happened with the Nautilus is that it gives us a platform to present conservation programs, and in the evening the cages are closed. We have evening programs talking about conservation of white sharks because that's where we operate here with Nautilus. And then, you know, Dan Orr is deeply involved in this as well. Dan, I think, has been on almost every trip. And the king of divers, 26 dives in 3 days in the cages, and I remember 5,000 photographs. And there's a lot of material that comes out of the imagery that it's fed to the local conservation programs. You get that large book on photo identification of the sharks. A lot of it's driven by the photographs that come off of these trips.
The young people have to be the future, and they have to learn how to preserve and conserve and be able to illustrate changes in our time. You know, we need to reach out to the world and let other nations start to conserve their natural parks, their water resources, the natural environment. It's what we have for the future.
Ernie's enthusiasm and the efforts of the Historical Diving Society are inspiring efforts for shark conservation now and for generations to come.
So, for all of you looking, this is one of the most beautiful dive spots in the world and one of the greatest crew that we ever have. Good divers, safety, and always good images to show the world. And you take care. We'll see you later.